Kalkadosh Boker Or Masechet Avodah Zarah Daf Nun Vav Amud Aleph 56a1. Says the Gemara, we're by the two dots, which is going to be 4 lines down. We just said that it's not going to become yain nesech until the wine goes down into the pit. Says the Gemara Vatnan. We learned to the Mishnah yain mishia kafeh. Says 1 second. The yain is going to be tavul to do with masrot once the chartzanim which are in the yain are going to come and they're going to start floating, which is basically the chartzanim. Remember, we have the peels, right, and we have the zag, which is going to be the bells, right, the little pits inside. So he comes and he says here it's coming that even after the wine goes down, it's not considered finished until the chartzanim are going to be floating on the top. Samar Rava comes and he says, La Kasha, what are we dealing with? Har Rabbi Akiva v'Rabbanan. It's a machloket between the two different opinions. One is Rabbi Akiva, one is Rabbanan. The Tanya was learned to the Braita. Yain mishireh labor. Yain is only going to be a problem once it goes down to the pit. Now it's going to be chayav to do with ma'asrot. Rabbi Akiva Omer, it's not chayav ma'asrot, ad shemi shekapeh, which means that once the chartzanim are going to be in the top, now it's going to have it. So Ibailahu, we're going to ask the following question: Kipui de bor or kipui de chavit? He comes and he says, are we now talking about the wine, right, which is talking about in the pit, or we're talking about the kipui and the chavit, right, which is going to be in the barrel? So Tashema, the time we learned in the Braita, right, in the Mishnah over here, yain mishia kafeh, afal pi shekipa kolet minagat eliyona min hatzinor veshoten. You're allowed to drink even without taking off masrot. Shema mina, we learn from here kipui de bor coming in. So obviously it's not of the barrel, it's talking about the pit. Shema mina, that's exactly what we're talking about. That means it has to be dafka in the pit. Rabbi Akiva comes and he says, only when you're going to take it from the chavit. So it's mashma here. If it's from the chavit, it's not from the bor, right? It's from the barrels, not from the pits. So we're also going to learn to answer it the same way. Again, it's going to be from chaviyot. So he says, so why? Right? What do we say? It's going to be also a machlok. 3 different deot of the Tanaim. So he says, no. Shain yain nesech tachminu rabbanan. Yain nesech, the rabbis were machminim, that even if it's going to be also, they're going to be machmid, even from the board. Usually we're not machmid from the board, but here we're going to be machmid from the board. Nun vava mubet, 56b. Ul rava de lo shani le, now according to Rava that he's not going to be mechalek between yain nesech and maaser, mukim lak etzalat Tanaim. So obviously you're going to be able to say that there has to be 3 different shitot of Tanaim. 2 dots. Mashe babor asur, rashar mutar. So all the wine that goes down, whatever goes into the pit is going to be asur. Everything else is going to be mutar. Amar Ravuna comes and he says, what are we dealing with? Ela shelo ichzid gagut nelegat. Only if you are not going to be machzid the gurgat, the mesanenet, right, to the gat, right, which means that you didn't put back the sieve to the gat. But if you did take it back, it's going to be asur. Kalgute gufa b'may kalbitza. He says, how did that become asur? So what? You're going to tell me Nitzoch Chibur? Nitzoch Chibur is when you have that it's going to connect. The flow from the top to the bottom is going to connect. So it says, right? No, really, but what happened was it went overboard. And then when it went overboard, it touched the misanenet. So since the wine went all the way to the top and it touched it, that's why I made it asur. There was a story. There was a story of a child that he was learning Masechet Avodah Zarah when he was 6 years old. So they asked him, are you allowed to come and to be dorech in the gat? He said, you're allowed to. So asked the Gemara, says, you're making yain nesech. So he comes and he says, he says, no, they tied him up. They tied up his hands. So says the Gemara, but he's doing it with his feet. So he says, it's not considered nothing when you do nisuch, right, with the raglaim. It has to be davka with the yadayim. Another story, that they were coming, they were trampling upon the wine, right? Now again, the guy's hands were tied behind his back. And Shmuel came and what did he do? So Shmuel came and he was me'akev to paskin until shalosh regalim. My tama, what's the reason? Why did he wait shalosh regalim? If it's going to be because he held the mishkachana tana da asar, that if it was going to be found a tana that's going to be osir, like Rabbi Natan osrin heva afilu bana, that it's going to be asur even bana. The Tanya, as we learned in the Braita, medado. If you're going to measure it, you're going to sell it. Rabbi Natan omer biyad is going to be asur, beregel is going to be mutar. So emadam Rabbi Natan biyad beregel miyamar. Did he ever say that in regel? So he says, if he was going to find somebody that's going to permit it, like a Rishimon, he would permit it even shtiya. Meaning he was waiting shalosh regalim to find a heter because he wanted to permit it not only in hana'ah but also in shtiya.